And welcome to another edition of the P114 Filmmakers podcast. This is season 1, episode 12. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We are going to do a audio commentary for the movie Jaws. I know it's never been done before, so there you go. I'm Jesse Knight.
I'm Randall Lanier.
Nathaniel Hinton.
And we're going to talk about all things film related, especially pertaining to this movie Jaws, which I am hitting play right now. All right, yeah, the old logo.
Universal logo coming up right now.
Yeah, do you think they used I guess they built a model of that globe, right?
Yeah.
And just, yeah. Now that you have the big CGI globe,
Yeah.
which they've been using for probably like 20 years now.
Right.
And yeah, I know I hit play. Here we go. Yep. Zanuck Brown production. And, old type titles.
Too bad we can't hear the score or whatever. But
I know, yeah. One of the problems of doing these commentaries is, you're just going to have to just watch along at home, folks. Right at the beginning of this, we hit play. So we should, right now we got the Jaws main title coming up. And so, yeah, it's kind of interesting. So we start off with the POV of the killer.
Yeah, basically that. It's Halloween all over again.
I reckon, John Williams, of course, who got super famous after this.
Yeah.
Though he'd been doing scores and stuff for a while, I believe.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So they,
He did all the sound.
he did the music, the score.
Yeah.
The score. I forget who did the sound mixing for this. I know Walter Murch did it for Star Wars. I don't know who did it here. Yeah, the editor of this was. All I can think of is her nickname that they gave her, which was Mother Cutter. But she cut her stuff on in a pool house next to her pool. That's where she did all her work.
Yeah, I saw something. Yeah, I saw a documentary on that.
And so, the first victim is there on the beach. Yeah,
This is how I deal with women right here.
Right. Have some coffee. And,
Staring at them while I'm. Well, see, I don't do this. I don't go to talk to them.
You don't go up and talk to them.
I'm just sitting on there going staring at them.
Yeah, you got to stay far enough away. And
That's how you get the women to stay away from them.
Oh, yeah. It's a simple beach party.
Now this beach I know was not CGI.
No, there's no CGI back
Yeah.
then. That's kind of nice.
Where was this shot at?
They shot it up at.
They did shoot it where it was taking place, kind of where.
That's that area everybody goes vacationing up north at.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! Of course, now the heat's on.
Right.
We'll come back to that.
Right.
During this scene, though, she goes off into the water, and the documentaries on this movie are really good. She's talking about, because basically when she gets out there and she starts getting tossed around and stuff, she was actually on a harness, and you had these people pulling her.
Oh, wow.
Problem is, they couldn't hear her if something went wrong.
Right.
And so it was uncomfortable, and she got,
Right.
it was kind of harrowing there, I know, a little bit doing that actual scene. I like, man, it's nice when you go from a wide to like a close-up. It just like gets your attention really quickly.
I like that shot with the sun under like that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and then that fool out there is just...
Yeah, that's me right there, but I'm still...
She's already swam a mile, and Homeboy's still trying to take his tennis shoe off. Yeah.
I remember this scene right here.
Yeah.
In the water.
Oh, yeah.
That's the most,
Yeah. It's just shot.
That's the hooking shot.
It's
that
the
really
hook,
does,
yeah. Yeah.
Iconic scene.
Yeah.
We used to do that, kind of play around with that in the pool, that whenever we go somewhere into the pool or whatever.
Grab someone's foot.
Yeah, or we just we used to say, hey, let's do the draw scene. And we just like this,
Yeah, that's right. But she's on that thing that's pulling her around now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably some sort of thing that looked like they had Bruce the shark connected to some sort of mechanism under there, but I think it was a little different with her. And dude's just laying out on the
Yeah,
beach. He passed out, I
don't-
guess.
I don't. Yeah, it must have been. I don't remember what happened to him because I don't. Like I said, he wasn't.
Yeah, I guess he wasn't.
Pacific, he wasn't.
Yeah, he's not even paying attention.
What is she holding on to?
That's a life buoy. They have little lights on them to keep mooring ships from coming close to shore. Yeah. And they got her.
Yep.
Never to be heard from again. Only pieces ever seen.
And never saw the shark.
Nope. And that was kind of the thing. They wanted to build something that you could see, but because of the problems they had with the mechanism and the shark, they decided, we're really not going to see this thing till well into the movie. You first sort of see it in the beach attack later.
Yeah.
Just this big thing out there is like, what is that? Wasn't she also I can't remember if she was one of the people that Spielberg used in Close Encounters. Wasn't she?
But I guess it's possible. I mean, I'm sure he probably would put
all right. IMDb coming up to full
effect. Close
effect.
Encounters enough to really can remember every little bit about it.
Yeah. So when y'all first saw this movie, I saw bits and pieces of it probably in TV in the 80s.
I was probably about the same because they did. They played it a lot on like ABC Sunday night
see
movies.
it in the theater. 90s for you.
Yeah.
Probably parents were into it and they showed it to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 90s for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you never really seen the shark though.
No.
Yeah, that's the whole thing throughout the whole movie. You never really seen the shark. That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Well, see, originally they were going to play it. They were going to show it more.
But they had so much trouble with that
they
thing.
had much trouble with it. They couldn't show it, but it worked out in their benefit because it makes it more suspenseful. You don't see what they're what's going on.
Right.
You just know it's a creature out there. You don't know what it looks like.
Right. No, she was not. Sorry,
Okay.
she was not in that. But she was in 1941.
Okay.
Hold on, this is a Spielberg movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it looks like she was in the other Jaws movies too. That's right. She was in Jaws Revenge. Yeah.
She was the main protagonist.
Yeah, she was. Yes, she was.
It's
Yep.
a bad movie.
Amity.
I've actually only seen parts of that one. Amity, that's right. And I forget the name of that place everybody goes.
Yeah, I don't remember. I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember either.
Yeah.
I thought Amityville was like in New York or something.
Well, Amityville. This is Amity. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
is this a made-up town?
That looks like California right there. But I could be wrong. That's probably all. They shot it all.
This wasn't a made-up town, but it's basically this. It was kind of based on like an area, like you just said about area in New England area or whatever.
Yeah, it was up there, and they did shoot up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I just can't remember the stupid name of it. It's someplace rich folk go to in the summer.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know.
What do you mean, Cape Cod or whatever? You're talking about that?
Something like that.
I've been to Cape Cod, one time, but
nice little stroll on the sand.
So they're just.
He found something.
Oh, the cop found the body. That's right.
Blowing the whistle, and that's what they hear while they're running.
We are victims of this place's web right now. We're going in. Interesting framing. He almost looks like a giant there in the front, and then you got a little bit of
crabs. Not
lots
spiders.
of little
Not spiders.
hermit crabs and stuff. Spider-like.
It looked like spiders.
Kind of reminiscent of the Raiders of the Lost Ark spiders in a way. Yeah, here we are.
And you don't see her. What she looks like.
Right.
You just see her hand, and that's the guy he was walking with. That's right.
Yeah,
I thought he looked familiar. That's the guy he was walking with.
Yeah.
Apparently she did disappear.
And I think this is the last time we see him.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
He looks.
Here's a wonder. So we start off with that close up of him, and then move past and go into here, and let's see where he does the cut. I bet if Roy hands her then we go further in, so then we're all in the office. That's kind of nice. So they just have it on a simple dolly, I imagine. And I think they back out too. I can't remember. And generally, there's a place where if something is handed to someone, okay, we go to close up here. Then they cut to the close up of the
shark.
Of that, yeah, right in the face. Then they cut back to the same shot.
Right.
So what's going on? Camera movement.
But they didn't show the girls. They didn't show the girl's body though.
You just saw. All you saw was their hand and just part of the mess inside that. I guess that's to say that there ain't much left.
It's probably a mannequin's body, whatever.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't have all those things crawling over.
Mm-hmm.
A real person.
Was Jaws shot? We're being a little quiet here.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry.
Our audience is going to be like, "What the hell?" Martha's Vineyard. That's
Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah. That's where they shot this.
Yeah.
And they shot for a long time. It was many days. It was 9 months or something.
Yeah.
Because of all the problems and stuff they had along the way. In some of the documentaries, Spielberg's talking about, I got fired. Like, they tried to fire me every day.
Because he was an unknown. He was roughly an unknown.
Yeah, he'd done a few things, but they were taking a chance with him, you know. But one of the guys really believed in him and just kind of kept. Might have been Bob Shea or one of those guys, I forget. But they kind of kept it on. And the main problem is, shooting in water is all kinds of problems. It can take all day to do one shot.
It's amazing what they had, the camera, the type of cameras they had.
Oh yeah, big 35 millimeter Panavisions, which were state of the art then. But they could build. They had water boxing, where those nice shots where the camera's like just half submerged in the water.
Yeah.
They have it in probably a plexiglass kind of box, where it can see out. And they had underwater housing units for cameras back then too. They had a lot of stuff. It just looks big and clunky to us in our age. Right. This coming up is sort of one of those famous shots too, where they ride in the. I think that's coming up. Yeah, where they're on the barge here.
Oh yeah.
They're like, how do they want to do coverage?
Right.
And I don't think they cut, but it kind of works out to where they're just stay on this, and because of the blocking of the actors and them moving around, let's see, do they cut to any mediums or close-ups? I don't think they do.
City council, basically.
Yeah. So no cuts yet. I think this but we are moving. That's kind of the wild thing about this. So we're already.
On the cars on the
it's on the barge. Yeah.
It's basically built for that too.
Yeah, you just take cars across.
I remember seeing this. I might have overlooked this scene right here.
Yeah, but pretty neat.
I forgot all about this.
You may have seen cut one too, because I don't remember this. I remember when I watched it, like on a movie or a DVD. I watched it later on, and I didn't ever remember this scene either.
Because
it probably was cut. Maybe cut part of it or whatever.
Is this the director's cut that you have?
Huh?
Is this the director's cut that you
I mean,
have?
it's special edition.
Yeah, collector's edition.
Okay,
but I mean, I think
added some scenes because I don't remember this scene.
I do. I'm pretty sure it's been in even the TV ones. I've seen it because they talk about they set up a lot about how the beach operates and works, why they don't close it. And,
right.
He's laying down like a lot of that, but it is kind of not. It's not a set piece scene. It's something that could easily be kind of missed or forgotten about, and I didn't really remember it until I started.
Because
why they put the car on there?
It's for that.
It's for that. It's for the.
That's what that's built for. It's to take. They don't have a bridge there.
Oh, okay.
They just have.
Bridge.
It's a ferry.
Okay,
it's a ferry.
Train,
yeah.
Okay, it's like,
See, it's just how they. It's how they do it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this scene right here.
Mm-hmm. And then here, this is the first. Yeah, that's right. The kid, and that's the kid that gets killed, I believe. And there's the mom.
Oh yeah, I recognize the mom.
So they're already setting up them. Yeah.
Well, see, Brody was new to the area too.
Yeah.
This was he was in the early.
This is his first summer there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why they're kind of like on him trying to
get him to run.
He was like saying he wanted to close the beach or whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they were like, no, we can't do that.
Another classic, another classic example of the Spielberg one. Or you start off in a 2-shot of the mom and the kid, and just a simple pan over, and you're a close up of Brody. you know, pretty cool. And then you got some fast cuts and stuff like that too. You know, each scene those got at least one sort of something special about it, as far as that goes. Yeah, my dad saw this movie in the theater. My mom didn't go, but he went way back in the day, and he said it was like weeks before he felt comfortable putting his foot over the side of the bed. You know, what is that dog's name? Pippet or something like that. That's the last you see of the dog. These cuts are cool too.
Yeah.
When someone walks in front, they use that.
Right.
Yeah. The people that walk in front of Brody and back and forth, pretty genius. And it makes those cuts work. You know, you just have somebody walk by the camera, and that's where you're going to cut it.
Right.
Pretty cool.
Isn't this the scene where that girl comes up talking about somebody died on the beach or something like that?
Well, there's the old man that he talks to right here. Or no, not that dude. That's one guy. A bunch of different people come up to him.
Yeah. So a lady gonna come up to him and start talking to him about somebody had died.
Yeah. And all these false scares.
Yeah.
Of someone in trouble, you know. And this guy's just on and on and on, and Brody's like, I don't want to. In life, you have several conversations like that. Sometimes it's like, yeah.
Well, he's kind of like trolling and not patrolling. He's on duty, but he's not.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be.
Because he was the lifeguard.
He's the sheriff, and he's there just, you know, he's
well,
in
I think
charge
he's supposed to relax that day. He was supposed to be on
vacation,
you know, or like relaxing that day, but
he can't. Yeah. And you got this old dude.
That was just really just subtle. I like the way he did that. It was just really subtle.
Yeah, he says something smart ass to him at the end of that, and he goes on.
He's like, if y'all people don't leave me alone.
Yeah, he's just there with his family, where they're just out there.
Roy Scheider was a neat actor.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a lot of things, but I know he was in a bunch of stuff.
He was in a number of things. He's always good when he's in a thing. He's in that Punisher movie with I can't remember the guy who did it, but he was in Punisher. The one with John Travolta in it.
Oh, the
one from the.
Yeah, with what's his name? He's in everything too. He's in everything.
I can see his face. He was actually in that shark movie too.
Deep Blue Sea?
Deep Blue Sea, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's the scene, the kid and the blood and all of that. Oh, there's another famous shot.
That's definitely like a
Yeah. You know how they do that?
How did they do it?
That's okay. It's called a trombone shot, and it's got a few other names too. But what they do, it's also called a dolly zoom, which gives it away. But you have the camera on a dolly, and you're pushing in, but you're zooming out at the same time. So generally, your subject is going to be about the same size. But what happens is the background either enlarges or shrinks, depending if you're moving forward or back.
Somebody's pushing them, they're zooming out.
That'd be something. You know, and you can actually do it by hand holding it, and you can kind of make a small move this way and sort of see that effect happen.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, it's neat. It's a neat little trick. I need to bring it.
New,
yeah, I need to make y'all do those. Yeah. Maybe we'll do another movie together.
We did something. I thought we did something kind of to it, but not quite that.
Right. They also did it in Lord of the Rings in the first movie where Frodo looks down and it's this little like the road goes into the woods, but it's just like they hear the riders coming and they do that shot.
What about, I know it's kind of not off the topic for this movie.
Bring it.
But what about the scene that's in The Shining where it seems like they're going on, that little boy's going on a tricycle and it seems like the room is getting longer and longer. How do they do that type of shot?
You use a wide angle lens and you just have a place built kind of like that. I mean, it had these long corridors and stuff, and a wide angle lens exaggerates space. That's the whole thing about it. You know, you see more of the space, but it exaggerates it too. Even when things move in front of it, it becomes, you know, and the closer you move something to that wide angle lens, the more distorted things will be. You know, it's pretty interesting. And if you have the wider, of course, the angle of the lens you have, the more distorted you get too. You know.
So it makes it so it gives you an illusion that
there's more
area
space.
never ends or something like that.
Right. Yeah. It kind of has that kind of effect, you know. Whereas a telephoto lens or a zoom lens would compress that space. You'd almost feel claustrophobic looking at it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But there are visual things you can do in design of a place too. You know.
Because telephoto lenses, they basically
Telephoto just means
up.
zoom.
Yeah. Just close up.
And it does interesting things to the space. You can get a medium shot with a wide frame just like you can get a medium shot with a telephoto, but it's that background area and how the volume looks visually, how like three-dimensional objects look a little different on those two shots. You know, those two lenses.
Learn something new every day. Gotta try it.
Oh yeah. Here's the big town meeting. Everybody's all crazy and stuff, but we the famous part where we get the fingernails on the blackboard. I think we're a little ways away from that right now.
This is not that one.
But that's later, huh?
Yeah, that's Dreyfus
okay, they come back.
Dreyfus
That's right.
is there when that happens.
That's right. So this.
Oh
no, that is it. Yeah. I thought
I'm sorry,
it was,
my fault.
That's okay.
I
That's
apologize.
okay. There's that
Yeah.
scene. He gets everybody's attention.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, maybe some of the funnest character in the movie. Maybe I like all the characters, but he's got that character dialed in. You think he really is that guy.
So everybody turned their attention to the board because it was the drawing of the shark.
Well, they heard his fingernails screeching on it. Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't listen to it with sound, but you'd hear like fingernails on a blackboard. You know, which no one knows anymore because there aren't any more blackboards. What's chalk?
They don't understand that. Because there was I'm not even gonna get into that. But that used to be a very, if you hear like the teacher would scratch on the blackboard accidentally or whatever type thing.
I remember just teacher writing with chalk and the whole class would go, oh.
Now they use those boards right there.
Funny. That guy, Robert Shaw.
Yeah, Robert Shaw.
He was a writer. Really,
Yeah.
he acted too and stuff.
Oh yeah, he acted a lot. He was a major actor.
Oh yeah. Commentary's hard for
It's just a kind of a dialogue scene more, so it's hard to say what's going on. But
it definitely sets up his character.
Yeah.
And there he's got his
his
help.
He offers his services to the town.
Oh yeah.
To go catch the shark. They still don't know. They still think this time was still. They actually, I think, they're really good to put the beach closed. But I think the first time they didn't believe that it was a shark or whatever that could be in the problem. Or they were,
Fish in distress.
And then now, since that happened on the beach with that kid getting eaten.
Oh yeah. It's funny. What I'm noticing about this is I'm not really seeing anything I hadn't noticed before, but it almost seems like it's a faster pace without listening to the sound and stuff like that. It's like I'm surprised at how quick some of the scenes go.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. Here's a little quiet before the storm scene where they're kind of just relaxing a little bit. But I forget what comes up here. But sometimes it's fine. I mean, I honestly kind of agree with this kind of method of shooting. You don't need to go up to close-ups for it. If you got a really well shot wide and you got both characters in it, why do you even need to cut to close-ups and mediums to go back and forth? I like it kind of like this. Same here. And then when you go to a close-up, it's kind of dynamic.
It looks like a screen behind them right there, but it's not.
It's not. They're just but they're lit from the side. The light on the ocean's nice.
Right. That's why it looks kind of like more like a screen or some sort of like.
Yeah.
Oh, this is interesting though when he sees. I like the way she looked at this shark attacking
Yeah.
the boat because she was like telling him, "Don't get,
Yeah,
don't
that's
yell
right.
at
That
them,
was
don't
the
hit."
thing. It was
And
all
then
about them being in the boat.
and then,
Yeah.
and then she
Then
just
she
saw
sees
that one
the
picture and she
shark
said,
goes
"Get
right
out
in.
of
Oh,
there."
yeah.
That was pretty funny. That's kind of a little humorous little
Yeah.
thing, moment right there. 'Cause
Mhm.
there's some humorous moments in this movie too. That's
Oh, yeah.
not just drama or.
Oh, it's good. Yeah.
That's what I like about it.
Spielberg, you kind of know that there's
Yeah.
going to be those kinds of like humorous moments and stuff, you know.
Mm.
Shark card.
This is not Robert Shaw. No, this is just two
Nah.
other guys.
Yeah, yeah. That is that one dude though. That guy. Well, maybe it's somebody else.
Yeah.
Somebody that looks like that guy with a cap and a dog
Yeah,
next to him.
it's just two other guys. I think they're like
Yeah.
trying to take down because they feel like they could take it down. You know.
Right. We'll just get it with a piece of meat on a tire.
Yeah, this is the one this was interesting when he's going through these pictures or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You see one, I think it was, I don't know, maybe it's a little later on, but I don't know, it's just pictures of a shark's jaw and it's over like two guys or whatever that means.
Right.
Okay, I don't know, maybe it's later, I don't know.
Yeah,
But, and I'm like, that's almost like pure, oh, there it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
Like 5 people in
Yeah,
it.
no,
and
I'm like, that's like
lights
almost
and-
prehistoric or whatever type thing.
Oh yeah.
Them
Whew.
real pictures.
That's a hard one to watch there.
That's the thing about it. These are real pictures
Those are
too.
real
It's not like it's
pictures,
just
yeah.
taken, you know,
Uh-huh.
for the movie or anything like that. Those were real pictures at one time. You know?
Mhm.
And
Yeah, totally forgotten about this scene of the guys on the
yeah,
on the
I think,
there. I know it's been in
Yeah.
movies and stuff. I know I've seen it before. I just forgot about it.
I don't know if they were like, because Robert Shaw was telling him that he could take him down, but they'd have to pay him or whatever, and they wouldn't pay enough to.
Dang.
Right.
And I don't know if these guys were just working for cheap or whatever, or for the
Right.
or they're just doing it on their own.
I think
or
they were. It
whatever.
seems like they were just doing it on their own.
Yeah.
But I think he's.
But I was trying to remember because.
Yeah, I just forget
But,
about these guys getting
these-
cut on with
yeah.
the girl in the
I
beginning.
mean,
the
I wouldn't be
boy.
surprised if they cut, you know, on TV version of where they would have cut
Yeah.
this scene out.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, I could see that. Yeah, it's interesting. Like without sound, you almost notice more stuff.
Well, you kind of look at movies. It's a visual. You know how much of a visual thing it is to
Mhm.
see a movie when you're not hearing dialogue. You're not
Oh
hearing.
yeah, and it works visually without any of that. You know what's going on. Whereas the latest Orson Welles thing, I don't know what's going on even with the sound going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so they got out alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't remember them getting killed
Yeah.
or anything like that. And you forget about like weird characters like this, like who's this dude?
Yeah.
I don't remember him at all. And then you really start looking at all these extras and stuff.
Mm.
Probably like that dude's like a grip, and
Yeah. Oh, these are all guys going to go hunt for it or whatever.
yeah, all these people are going after it.
Oh, there's Richard Dreyfuss. Yeah, this is when
Mhm.
he comes into the. Oh. I like his character in here.
Oh yeah, he almost didn't he pass on the movie at first, and then.
He possibly could be.
That's it. That's right. He was not so interested at first, but then this movie he was excited about like tanked. It was just
Yeah.
about to come out,
Oh, okay.
and he was like, "Ooh, I better do something."
Yeah.
And it ended up really making his career.
Right.
Yeah, because he'd done some other stuff. He had done the George Lucas movie American Graffiti.
Yeah, he done remember. I think he
Right.
done some stuff in his youth too. Like
Yeah.
he done.
He'd been an
I
actor
think he'd
for
been
a
in
while.
television, live television too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
Because I just recently saw a recent interview with him.
Yeah.
They barely talked about his movie career at all. He just like started on this other subjects, and they just barely didn't even. But he did say they did kind of start off where he did a lot of TV and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah, he had a lot of good, funny one-liners in this. especially his relationship with the Robert Shaw character is pretty great. Everybody's smoking.
Yeah, I know. You can tell it's 1970.
Yeah.
In the 70s.
And that kind of pretty much went right up until like 90, 89, 90, kind of everybody chain smoking all over the world.
Right. It's not been that long.
No.
But now that it even affects the rating system.
It does. But you know what? Smoke
rating
looks
of the
cool.
movie.
I like having smoking in movies because the smoke in the air with the light does neat stuff.
Depends on what it is.
I like it for the wrong reasons, you know, or maybe those are the right reasons to like it. I don't know. Yeah.
Depends on what it is.
Yeah, I prefer not to smoke.
But,
What they were having a discussion about right here.
He's trying to figure out.
Expert. Yeah, he's an expert on.
Yeah, he's brought in as a shark scientist or a marine biologist.
Right.
And was he called in by the mayor or by Scheider? I forget who
know.
brings him in.
I think Scheider probably.
Yeah.
I think. It's either that or he just kind of heard about it and he showed up himself or whatever. I can't remember now the whole why he was there.
Oh yeah.
But he heard about the situation and he came in himself or whatever. I don't know. It's either side. I don't think the city called him because they don't barely listen to him when he's trying to give them advice or whatever. So
it's funny. Even with this stuff, they're trying to do little funny.
What?
It's called chum.
Yeah.
They call that chum, and then it like sharks smell, and they can really sense the blood from far away. So that's how you bring them in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so these are the remains of the girl.
Yeah.
I think, or
he's
not the
going
boy,
to see the
I wouldn't
wounds.
think. Yeah. And so he's
girl.
recording. That microphone's pretty funny. That was state of the art back then. But
he can tell what kind of, because they don't even still don't know if they don't know what I mean. They think it's a shark, but they don't know what kind of shark or anything like that is.
Right. So they're looking at the bite marks, and so he's telling him like it's at least this size.
Right.
If it's this kind of thing. Yeah. Gnarly. Still had a ring on the finger. That's crazy.
Yeah, you can tell he's breathing hard and having problems. Because he's not like a doctor or anything like that.
No, he doesn't care about any of this, and he wants it all to go away. Yeah. He doesn't like this truth hitting him.
Right. Well, he's not used to seeing dead bodies all the time and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, true that.
Like the coroner is or whatever type thing, and
that is a real shark.
It
looks like a real one.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is or not, but that's what they they think.
They caught the
they think that's it, and that's just a regular.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not a great white or whatever. I don't think it's just a. I don't know what kind it is, but.
So I think I remember seeing it, thinking they caught the real thing. Caught the real creature.
It's a tiger shark. That's what he says. It's a tiger.
Yeah.
It's not a tiger. Yeah.
And.
Yeah, that's not it.
Yeah, because he's. Everybody's thinking that they are, but
and everybody's happy, and he's like, "That's wrong. That's not the shark. That's not the one."
he's the one that.
And that's too small, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a normal size shark, but
yeah, he's looking at.
It could be a fake shark, but hard to say.
The size of it. Because I mean, I want to say, because even sharks in general were kind of somewhat new to our knowledge or whatever at the time, as much as the different species go and all this other stuff.
Sure.
So it's just kind of.
Yeah, the only one who really, it's funny, all those like sailors and stuff, the only one that really knows who's one of them is the Shaw character. He knows exactly what all that is, but.
They're out there celebrating. Happy.
We got it,
And they're about to get the news soon.
Yeah, and it's funny. The mayor doesn't care. He's just like, okay,
Yeah,
good,
but-
that's settled. Let's go back to the beach. Let's
That's-
get the money for the town.
Right.
Yeah, he always played those kind of guys.
Yeah, he's like smart
Oh, geez.
politician type characters.
Or
and,
angry husband and.
Yeah.
I loved him in the Mrs. Robinson movie. What is that? The Graduate.
The Graduate, yeah.
That was a crazy
I
scene
think
in there. Yeah.
He knows. I think he suspects that it's not the shark right here. He's telling him that,
Yeah.
and I think
He's telling us not the
he
one.
doesn't really have full proof of it, but when I think they cut the shark open later on.
They do.
Right?
They sneak out there. Yeah.
Because
But he's thinking that the teeth are not big enough.
Yeah, and he knows that they're gonna look for something
remains
of
the kid or somebody in it.
And later on, because the digestive system of the shark should be
slow.
You're right, is a slow process or something like that.
And the pieces they found are just pieces that didn't get swallowed.
Right, and that's what he's telling them right now.
Mayor's not liking that. He's like, we're gonna hush this up.
Yeah.
You guys get out of town.
But don't sharks in real life in general, don't they have to explode or something, or do they have to pop them?
Huh?
Sharks, don't they have to pop sharks?
Why?
When they die, like when they die, y'all ever heard of a shark exploding?
Only if people pack it with dynamite and blow it up.
I seen a lot on those history and discovery channels where they have to pop sharks when they die.
I don't know about that.
It's just really
sharks are misunderstood. I mean, they're just an animal. I hate what people in like Chinese fishermen will just cut the fins off and throw the shark alive back with no fins. I mean, it's wrong, man. I don't know. I'm a softie though. In my old age, like I love animals. I don't like to even kill bugs. But I'll kill a tick and a flea in a heartbeat, no problem.
She's telling him because she's the mother of the kid that.
Oh yeah, and she smacks the crap out of him here pretty soon.
Well, you sure she's dead? You were talking.
Oh yeah, she did already. She did at the beginning. That's right. Yeah. I think they did when they interviewed the actress, she was joking because they had to do several takes.
I think she was a local person too. I don't think she was like Hollywood person.
I think she
was a local person that they kind of brought in.
I think they kind of tried to use a lot of the locals.
Isn't that the boy's mother?
Yeah.
The
one who just died.
Yeah. And
There's a scene. The funny thing is, there's a scene in I think. Oh, I know this is off the rails, but in Lethal Weapon 3, that almost a similar thing to a point. Similar scene where a woman slaps Danny Glover's character or whatever because they're at a funeral and he's the one that shot the kid or whatever.
That's right.
And it's almost a similar kind of.
And it was his son's friend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a hard one. Yeah. Yeah, those movies really.
They may have taken. I wonder if they kind of took it from that a little bit.
I bet. Same kind of.
It's not. They weren't at a funeral with this, but she was coming from his funeral, I think.
Yeah.
This is an interesting scene. This is just a quiet scene that I really like. I really like this. This is definitely Spielberg right here.
Yeah, character development.
And it's just his kid is just copying everything he does.
Yeah, which I don't know about y'all, but I did some copying when I was younger.
Yeah, look at it. He's holding his hands like that. It's just like a little. It's just like a little.
The kid is like, I'm gonna be like Dad.
Yeah, it's just a little. It's just quiet. And Roy Scheider's not really paying attention to it until like right here.
Yeah.
I like this. It's pretty. And like I said again, a little funny scene. There's a lot of tension going on around it. It's just a real fun.
And it gives him some dimension. You know.
That.
And of course the kids gonna do that.
And it shows that he's, that he has a relationship with his kids too. I mean, because they didn't really have it. You didn't see it until now.
No.
Any kind of like a reaction.
Just throwing down the law.
Other than him yelling
stuff,
yelling at the boat. That was not anything.
But then he's a good dad. Too.
Yeah. I said that he's.
Yeah, they did this with Close Encounters a bit too. Even though, was he really a good dad? He abandoned his whole family for aliens.
But it kind of showed, a different aspect to this character too. Is that he's a dad. He's caring about, he's caring, about the people in the town, and he caring about, he didn't want anybody to die, type of thing. Yeah.
He's, it shows he's a good guy.
Right. And also I saw some. This is a little bit. I think in the book, because the book, this is based on a book. Yeah. In the book, his wife, Brody's wife, and Hooper, which is the Richard Dreyfuss character, is they almost like get together or become close. Or whatever, and it doesn't even get. I mean, I don't know if they have an affair or something like that, but there's something like it was. They are like
they ventured a little into
and they're not even close in the movie or whatever. Not even like other than this one scene right here, type thing. Which
interesting. Kind of little anecdote about Dreyfuss, Spielberg. Spielberg was really. He's kind of depressed. He's making this movie, but his anxiety level's like shooting through the roof, and he can't get any woman to be interested in him. What's his name? Scientist, right there. Hooper. Yeah. Well, the actor. Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah.
He was like, Spielberg was like to Richard Dreyfuss, like, how we're basically the same. We're both short Jewish guys. We got beards and glasses. How come you get all the women and I don't? And Dreyfuss is like, well, I've got a 14-foot face, which he means on the movie screens and stuff. Yeah, and I think they were screening something up there while they were shooting with him in it, or something like that. But I thought that was funny. That's a big glass of wine right there.
Brody's in.
Better hope you have some Tylenol on hand or something.
Brody is,
he's just looking at in a tiny little glass.
In that state of, he's in that state of getting drunk. Basically.
Pretty much.
But this is the only scene they kind of have together as much as like Hooper and his wife goes. So, but in like I said in the book, I haven't read the book, but I heard that in the book that they have an affair or some sort of thing. They get together.
I could see that being written in the book for sure.
But this is like.
I think for the movie though, they played it well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think if they went there,
it would have been
especially
stupid.
Society back then couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
And society now, I don't want to.
It just doesn't sound. I mean, it just doesn't. It didn't go with the movie at all. It would just been way too just like what the heck,
That author's having an adventure.
Right.
But I mean, things like this, scenes like this, I think are important when it comes to like character building and that kind of like with him and his son too. You know?
Yeah.
To add little bits.
I mean, there again, that was a subtle thing, but it built his character a little bit here and there. He's just not one note. Hey, I'm sheriff. Whatever.
Right. And it seems like if they were to do the movie today, he'd be a one-note kind of dude, I don't know.
Definitely probably in the 90s or something. I know. Yeah. Maybe in the 80s or whatever, he'd be
maybe I'm too hard on newer movies, but...
Because this is when he's telling them to go cut. They were going to go cut.
Cut that's right. They were slightly inebriated when they went to go cut the shark open. That's right. And I remember, like, the smell, they were all, like, acting like it smelled terrible. So the magic of smoke and mirrors. He doesn't actually have to cut anything. They have somebody there with a bucket ready to go just to, like, yep, there it is, pouring the... Yay! Is that milk?
No, it was,
they probably just poured, like...
It probably was milk or...
And then they picked up some fish at the supermarket.
or
Or the right there. I mean, there's plenty of fish to get when you're there. A can.
yeah.
Okay, probably don't remember this, Nate, but I bet you do. When this movie came out, there's a fun game. I couldn't afford it, but there was a Jaws game that came out, and it was a plastic shark, and its mouth would stay open on a timer, and it had a bunch of little things in it. And you had a tiny little like fishing line thing. It was all plastic, and the idea was to pull the things out of the shark's mouth before the shark's mouth closed. It was called Jaws.
Oh yeah.
But it was they made it.
think
Yeah.
I vaguely
Remember
remember
that?
that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing they could really put
I
out
just
there. They couldn't
remember-
put out any figures or
No.
actually.
And yeah, there wasn't even like Star Wars figures and that
Yeah,
stuff
that
at the
not
time.
yet. Yeah,
No one had thought about
It was
that.
a couple of years later, or whatever, a year or two later.
Yeah. That's
but-
really where Lucas made his money.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, that had this happened after Star Wars, I bet you 10 bucks they would have put out
Had
some
figures.
action
Oh,
figures.
yeah. But rubber shark sales flew through the roof, I'm sure. Yeah, but I still want one of those shark games. It was just a shark, you know.
I think I saw it on like
figure,
there was this show called Toy Hunter.
Uh-huh.
They used to he used to go around looking for different toys or whatever type of.
Yeah.
And I think I remember seeing that in one of the one of the
Mhm.
places he went to find it because it was an odd thing to have, for a because this is not a family movie.
No.
It's not a comedy, and it's not a.
It's not flat out horror.
Yeah, but there again,
it's
it
kinda-
could possibly you could argue that it could be.
Yeah, I think
possibly
most people-
horror.
Boy, that's the toy. It looks a little funny,
No,
doesn't it? Maybe I don't want it anymore. It looked cool when I was like 3, you
Yeah.
know?
But,
And then, of course, after this movie, there were all the clones movies
Yeah.
made. There was, I think it was made for TV called Orca. I've seen that a bunch of times.
Yeah, actually, that was a theater.
Oh, it was on the theater?
Because I remember seeing it in a comic book, a thing for it. I mean,
Yeah,
or
it was Michael
a
Caine,
promo for
I
it.
think.
I think so.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was, but I remember seeing it. It was on a comic book as a.
So they did put it out.
That's back
yeah.
when they used to put movie things in comic books.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like that.
Mm-hmm. Along with the,
We don't do none of this stuff no more.
yeah.
And take all the good stuff.
Lots of commercials for sea monkeys of all
Yeah.
things in
Yeah.
comic books. Have you heard of
Yeah.
sea monkeys? They're just brine shrimp, but they'd have these cartoons of these underwater people on the front, and they get kids excited to get them, but they're just tiny little shrimp. It's like a bunch of shrimp eggs in
and
a
you
water
put it
tank.
you put it in a glass with water and just look
Yeah,
at
I
it.
mean, it just looked like a little bag of nothing really,
Yeah.
and then they would turn into little brine shrimp.
I never bought any of that stuff.
But every comic book would have an
Yeah.
ad for them.
That and the X-ray goggles.
X-ray goggles, snap gum,
Saying that
fake
you can look through
doggy
clothes, you can look
yeah,
through clothes and all.
yeah. That was, yeah.
And they couldn't, that's,
Yeah. Me and my friends bought some of those. The snakes. Basically, it was just these little tiny things you put on a fire, and they would just like spring out this big coil. They'd call them snakes. but
Oh,
it was
the
nothing. Yeah.
fireworks things.
Yeah, sort of like that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. We're coming up on a scene. Actually, for the close-up of this, they shot it. I don't know if they did the whole scene there, but they used the editor's pool,
okay.
and at least did a shot. Maybe not this stuff, but when because Dreyfuss, I believe, gets a tank on and goes under, right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that's one of the
Okay,
people
yeah,
that was
yeah.
out who's missing
Maybe, yeah.
or whatever. And they find that boat. I
I'm
think
trying to
that's
remember.
this scene, yeah. You got some glare
Yeah.
and stuff. Who was DP on this? I think it was it Zigmund? Phil Zigmund or the other
J.J.
guy?
Abrams?
He wasn't even a spark in his parents'
I
eye
know.
back then. Let's see.
But every time I think,
Actually, he
every
wasn't.
time
He
I
was
see
older.
glare, every time I see that, I think of J.J. Abrams. But
I think it was Bill Butler. Okay, wasn't who I was thinking of. Yeah, Bill Butler's cool. He shot this.
yeah, I saw his name when it came up.
Yeah.
Director of photography.
he shot One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Grease, The Conversation. So it was
I
happening
could
back
see,
then.
I could see that because it definitely has a
Similar,
little bit of
mm-hmm.
tone. But all those movies have a similar
I think
look to them compared to this.
he's still alive, Bill Butler. And the last thing he shot's 2016, so he's still with it. He's shot 85 movies. It's sort of a lot fewer in between, though.
Golly, you see that chunk torn out.
Yeah.
Right
Now
there.
this, I believe, was shot in the pool.
Okay.
This
yeah.
shot right here,
I can see that.
and maybe that.
They do tend to do those underwater shots in like big pools or whatever.
And I think they did it in the
They can
editor's
control-
pool,
they can
swimming
control-
pool. Yeah,
They can control. You can tell it's not ocean
Yeah,
that he's swimming in.
but they,
Yeah.
it works.
Oh yeah, I mean it still looks good.
And then there's the
Yeah,
famous
yeah.
jump scare.
Yeah.
Yeah, he drops the light, and freaks out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like that. It's like wide
Yeah.
shot, but boom, close up.
Right. Oh yeah, I love this part. This is one of my favorite parts of the movie. When
Oh yeah. The mayor just
he's
doesn't.
basically telling him everything, all these bad things. The mayor just sits there and says,
Like, look, I'm tired of hearing this stuff. Y'all
Yeah.
just do your job and get this over.
Yeah,
with.
man.
I'm trying to make this money.
Right.
yeah. Because it's basically telling him they need to close the beach for the was it 4th of July weekend maybe or something like that?
Yeah, yeah.
There's like, you know how much money I can make this weekend?
Mhm. He looks like he's totally. Yeah. I wonder if he, for this scene, if he tied one on the night before just so he could look a little,
It might have not been for the scene either.
Yeah. Well, I heard they partied pretty hard
Yeah.
on Jaws, except for Spielberg, who was running around like a crazy man, and the writers. I think they were still working on the script a lot too, as they went. Again, yeah, and we're not going to close-ups
Yeah.
for everybody. They're letting it
Yeah.
play out, in this
Right.
3-shot.
I think it definitely works.
Yeah.
It kind of, they're talking about the people in the town,
Mhm.
and that's where the people are behind them. I mean, it's just like
and
there's
then we're on
all-
a dolly, of course, and we're going to change the shot a little bit.
and
That's the whole deal about the Spielberg Warner.
mm,
And it changes to a 2-shot. And I bet we pick up Roy later. We get this with the. That's pretty funny.
yeah, this is what it is. They're talking about
Uh-huh.
this annual regatta. Everybody had a regatta back then.
Uh-huh.
You can see a lot of that. Well, this is 70s, but then like 80s movies too. They were always having a regatta or whatever.
Oh,
happened
yeah.
about-
Sounds fancy.
Yeah. Well, the movie not Better Off Dead. One Crazy Summer.
Yeah.
What was the John Candy movie that had
Summer Rental?
Summer Rental.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them that were like, we got selling the regatta or whatever type thing
Yeah.
to beat the bad guy or whatever, or the
Yeah.
antagonist or whatever. And
It's like the mayor ever gonna light up? Probably not.
sorry, I'm off the
No,
off
you're
the rails with that.
That's fine.
But
Off the rails as well.
yeah. But
Then it's kind of strange
Yeah.
composition, eh?
yeah, because with
When he
Dreyfus,
leaves, and it's
you
kind
can
of.
see it's just his head right there, and then,
And
they
then
were,
we settle back,
mm,
and then it becomes this crazy wide. A lot of people in it. That we cut. I wonder. I'm kind of curious. I bet I can find this information out. How many of those people that are there are actually locals and stuff, and
Yeah.
how many are flown in?
yeah.
I bet most of them
'Cause
are just from there.
it shows some people behind them. They were taking pictures of them like they were almost like tourists or whatever,
Mhm.
because they were taking pictures and they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
There's some sort
And
of
then
like,
that's,
tourist
you know,
type stuff.
A big boat full of people.
Mm-hmm. That's that picture
That-
they took
yeah,
or whatever.
That's not a shark.
Mm. Not the shark they want.
Not the. Yeah. Met that in the Crocodile Dundee way. Another weird movie and sort of set in its time that was made in.
Yeah.
I loved some Crocodile Dundee though back in the day.
Yeah, it was basically all everybody coming there for the. I gotta know who that kid is because he looks familiar. The kid looks familiar, like old when he gets older. He's been in some stuff or whatever.
Huh.
I don't know what.
It's probably a friend of theirs' kid. Yeah, I don't know. Huh.
It looks like he was in other things like later on.
Yeah, an actor.
I could be wrong.
Huh. Well, I'd bet on you to be right. Even if you're wrong. It sounds right.
There might have been some crazy, useless trivia. That was early video games. Yep, Killer Shark. Early video games right there. Golly. Yeah, video games right there.
Lots of plaid in the 70s.
Is this when he gets in the tower, or is it that's later on? I don't know.
Yeah, this stuff, and I've seen this movie lots, but it's so weird without the sound. Like, this seems like something entirely new to me. But it's not. I think that guy might be one of the producers.
Okay.
Funny enough.
Well, see, some things. I mean, I've seen this movie, the full movie, a few. Let's say about 3-4 times in my lifetime, or whatever.
Right.
Time.
Right.
But I've seen a lot, bits and pieces of it, or here and there on television.
Where they cut,
television.
they'll cut the hell out
So
of it
it's
on
like
television.
sometimes it's like well, is it something that I really hadn't seen that scene or seen that little bit and whatever.
Yeah.
So that's the way I see it, type thing. Because they used, like I said, they used to show it a lot on ABC, Sunday night movie or whatever.
That's right. He was almost kind of forced everybody to come out to the beach. A lot of people were kind of skeptical of being there.
Right.
That's right. So everybody wasn't really sure. It's like, are we going to see another murder again? You know?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, that's
those
what
boats in the background.
He's telling
that
everybody,
reminds me
hey,
of
let's go
something.
to the surf.
Yeah, it's safe.
They're like, no, we're just here to, sit here. Hey, show it to them that they're. So it's safe,
One of the problems I know they had on this were, you see how anything on the water.
Look at their
faces. They're
oh my God.
I wouldn't do that. Well, who's going to do that in this day and age?
They're like, ugh.
People are good at saying no now, or better, hopefully.
Right. I don't like going to the beach anymore. I mean, I really don't. I just I'm not a beach person anymore. I used to do it when I was a kid, but I just it's not even anything to do with sharks or anything, but it just I just don't like the way
what I
all
like,
the sand and grit.
I love the beach, but I like it for these reasons. Not for really laying on the beach. I agree with you there, sand and grit and stuff. I do it anyway because family and stuff. But I like porches on the beach at night. It's one of the most wonderful
that I could go
things.
with.
They got the breeze.
Yeah.
Something kind of neat about it.
Yeah.
You hear the
and
ocean. I like that.
Ocean. Yeah, I could see.
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah,
That's what I like.
get with
And
that.
I like the food. I love seafood.
Oh yeah, I love seafood.
That's why I like it.
but as much as going out in the water and all that other stuff, just
my wife
doesn't
does it.
appeal to
She'll
me
drag me
anymore.
out there. I'll do it.
Yeah.
You get the stuff on. You can't really.
Just doesn't really appeal to me. Because it's just.
And I used to like going swimming because
all
the
that
sharks.
all that. Even if they didn't have sharks, let's say there's no sharks at all anymore, or nothing, even like animals to bother, in the ocean or anything at all, nothing could happen to you at all. I still would not want to do it because there's so much crap in the ocean too that you don't know what the heck you're gonna run into.
Yeah, jellyfish and all that.
Well, that's something that could hurt you. But I mean, just like sludge and just junk out there. That's
better than lakes. Better than lakes, I will say.
Yeah.
I haven't been to the lake very much either. So
I won't go anymore. Yeah, I was terrible.
But I just it's so much it's so much crap from everywhere and all that stuff. You don't know what's in that.
Now some beaches are totally crystal clear, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Those are neat.
I've been to some beautiful beaches out when I was in Europe or whatever,
Oh, yeah.
like the Mediterranean and all that stuff over
Yeah,
there.
for sure.
So, but it just still over there.
But
I
most
didn't
look
do it.
like this.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I just like.
It's the one African American in the whole movie.
Yeah.
I say maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, these shots, yeah. But you can tell they got the camera in the little rig.
Why is she? I think.
right.
They see the
shark
shark
coming because it's fins.
And that guy
up
just knocks everybody
Yeah.
over. He's like,
That'd probably be me.
yeah, all the kids go flying. Oh. Pretty cool though. They make that scene look really big with all these shots all over the place. Yeah.
That's the thing about what he was like Ray Shire and that other one where the kid gets eaten by the shark. It's like you can't like. You can see the shark out there, or him getting, or the kid getting eaten, or
Right.
blood on something, but you can't run out there because you don't. You're gonna get eaten too, or you're gonna get
There's
affected
nothing
too.
you
There's
can
really
do.
Nothing you can do.
Nothing you can do.
And
That
that's
probably was
like,
fun scene right here. Everybody,
Oh
they telling
yeah, freak
everybody-
out.
Yeah. Right, just go run into the water.
Yeah, I think, I don't know about y'all, but I'd like to make kind of a biggish movie like this. I'm not talking at, Avengers, but something we have some excitement with a lot of people and stuff would be kind of fun, I think. It's nice choreographing bigger things and pulling it off. But I've never had this many people. Probably the most people I've dealt
that's
with
right.
is like
This
10
is-
people maybe.
This is the we're messing around. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. They were faking the shark.
Yeah.
Yeah. They should have gotten
That was one of his kids, right? Oh yeah.
They're all like the guns.
Look at all of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
It was his idea.
He made me
He
do it.
made me do it.
Oh, so it was them. that
Yeah.
was doing
Well, just there, yeah. The one
Because all you
where
saw was a fin. All they
Yeah.
saw was a fin.
just
But
pulling the
what I
little-
think is so creative about the whole movie is the whole fact that they had so much excitement and detail around it without actually showing the shark. I thought that was just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it
But
was
it
really
was-
because they had such problems with it. They
Yeah.
decided not to use it. It was great. You get its POV, and it's really you get that POV like before. I mean, you had some Italian serial killer movies with that in it by that
Yeah.
time, but we hadn't seen Jason Voorhees yet. We
Yeah.
hadn't seen
Halloween, yeah.
Halloween
Oh,
yet,
yeah.
where it uses that.
You
So Jaws is also like Michael Myers and Jason
Just
Voorhees
like
almost.
And
Mysterious.
now the shark has just shown up now.
Yeah, the real one.
The real one is.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
right. Oh,
poor
yeah.
old dude in the dinghy gets
Yeah.
killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He ain't paying
The
attention.
little rowboat. He's telling those kids how to tie a knot, and all those people are like,
Yeah.
"Ah, ah." Oh yeah, and he's done.
He's toast.
Some of them, the kids survive, I think.
Yeah, I believe so. One of them is
Yes.
Brody's kids or whatever.
Yeah, that kid.
Yeah.
So they
He
use
gets
him
killed,
for the
but
close
the
up.
kids get, I think, all right. Yeah,
You finally see some of that
he
shark.
sees some of the
Oh,
shark. Yeah.
and
Ooh,
her-
golly.
pretty realistic leg there.
Mhm.
I just would not like to be eaten. I don't think is a way to die. Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
So I guess the shark goes by the kid,
Yeah. That,
and he's just paralyzed.
His kids don't die or anything like
No.
in the movie.
Yeah, big shots, all kind of framing.
Mm-hmm.
This too, they got that dolly going. Kid's in shock.
Yeah. He didn't. He's not. Yeah, he's just in shock. He's not
Yeah.
quite veterinary.
Now it becomes even more personal for
Yeah,
Roy Scheider.
exactly.
He doesn't give a shit now to the
Yeah.
mayor. And their other kid.
And then that's the other kid.
Oh, he's not singing the Muffin Man song anymore. Oh well.
This time it's personal.
Yeah.
And then he's looking at the shark. Looking at
Uh-huh.
he's looking out the ocean going, okay,
Yeah.
this time it's personal.
And honestly, it's probably a hot dog stand in a building there, you know. You just forget about little details, like I forgot they were in the hospital.
Yeah.
With its very 1970s orange on the wall. Everything was brown, orange, green, and yellow in the 70s.
Pretty much.
It's like, really? Those were the colors everybody was wowing
Right.
over? Really? Okay.
Now we got 1,000,001 colors. Everywhere.
Now it's everything. Everything, everywhere. It's
Yeah.
it's all our culture from the last 100 years, all sandwiched into one style.
This is when he gets takes on the mayor now.
Oh, yeah. Yep, he's not going to cow down to him this time. The mayor's still in denial. It's really fun to watch this just for like acting.
Just
and,
really what they do,
yeah.
because you don't really notice it as much.
No,
as
you're listening to the words.
Yeah, you're
and,
trying to find the dialogue.
it kind of is interesting.
What they say next, or what it says next, or whatever you're looking.
Almost, it's more than what a silent movie would give you.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, just the little hand gestures or the little things they do.
That's
you
great.
Can see the acting. Happening.
Yeah, it's almost like you can enjoy. I mean, you don't hear their voices, but you can really
Right.
see more of the just catching all that nonverbal.
Because they just like you can see. I mean, they're acting. They're not. They're not just. I don't know. I don't want to say how I want to say that, but I mean, they're just acting. But it's like you can tell they're good actors because they're.
Well, it feels real.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to figure. It feels real.
It's believable. Yeah.
You don't see they just.
No, they're just two people talking. They're not
reading from a script or whatever.
Right.
Or just trying to figure out what to say next. Couldn't remember what they gotta say next or whatever.
Oh yeah. Man, I was acting in something the other day.
Yeah, this is when he gets. This is when he comes to Robert Shaw to
Oh yeah.
help him out.
It's nice to rehearse if you got to act. It's really nice to get the material beforehand.
Well, see,
maybe a day before at least.
I mean, I haven't seen many, like, it'd be interesting to see maybe even more recent movie and see how,
Without
turn
the sound.
turn the sound down, whatever, you do it at home or whatever type thing, and just see how it is compared. Some actors that maybe not are new, and see what the difference is that, the differences you see,
I bet we'll be surprised. I bet we'll see good stuff actually in the new stuff.
Yeah, you might see some good, but there again, you might run into those.
Right.
Some like, well, wow, these are really just concentrating on.
Yeah. They got somebody more for looks and not really for acting ability. Yeah. It could be argued. They were using just sort of real looking people here. They look like adults look like this, Whereas in there, like for the 90s especially and going on, they were just everybody's cookie cutter models. They would put in everything. I see it kind of going away a little bit now. Not everybody's beautiful in all the movies, but I like real people.
Well, see, sometimes actors don't want to do roles like that. The pretty one actors don't want to do roles like that because they have their face.
Vanity, and that kind of
thing. They have their face is their tool, and a lot of actors don't want to go those routes with those characters.
You're right. Richard Burton certainly did. He was skeptical at first when they did, what was it? Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? Though they wanted to see the pits in his face and all that kind of stuff, but they didn't want him to wear the usual movie makeup and stuff like that. And he got worried about some of the lighting and stuff, but it's good. It worked.
Yeah. He's trying to
he's questioning his manhood.
Yeah, exactly.
You got these soft little boy hands,
Because he just tied that thing together. See, I know how to do it.
But they both, so their whole deal is they're competing with each other from this moment on.
Because Yeah.
Richard Dreyfuss is not about to like go down without
he wants
a fight.
to. I mean, Robert Shaw wants to have guys who could feel like they could take on the shark, whatever, you know, and help him take on the shark.
Mm-hmm.
Than just.
So he's questioning Dreyfuss's manhood,
Right.
which is great because it adds to just really good stuff later. Yeah, yeah. You know, Roy Scheider is a good sort of every guy kind of person.
I wish he did more movies.
I know he didn't.
Or at least ones that I mean, I don't know. I see all. You know, like I said, I haven't seen every movie.
I've just seen a few. Marathon Man, I think, was one with him in it, which was
Really?
mainly.
I know of the movie. I hadn't seen it.
He played the brother of the main guy,
Okay.
the graduate guy.
Yeah. Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman.
I know he's
oh
in
my
it.
gosh, yeah.
But, I didn't know he's in it.
Yeah.
That was funny. This scene right here reminds me. I know this is not part of the movie, but it reminds me when this movie came out. It was one of the earlier neighborhoods I lived in. It wasn't one in Reedsville or anything like that. This was one in Burlington, and my brother and his friend at the time. I think his friend had seen Jaws. I don't think my brother went to see Jaws.
Right.
But he was like, they were making, he had a swing set. And it was a kind of an old swing set. It didn't have like swings anymore or whatever. Nobody used it anymore. It was a swing set of his friend. And they were trying to put together they were pretending that was kind of like I don't know whether they were trying to make like a ship. Mm-hmm. Like this, they were getting all the equipment, like I said, to take down the shark weight. Mm-hmm. It was weird because they were trying to do that, and they wouldn't let me play with them or whatever. I remember that. That just sticks in my head, in my mind about that.
My dad actually worked at the beach. He ran a little in the summers. He went to the beach and worked there. He just worked at a little like convenience store, selling bait and stuff like that. And he said the dudes coming in from the islands were a lot like Robert Shaw. He said he was kind of scared of those guys. They'd come in and they'd start drinking and stuff, and they were just these really rough,
all salty
scars and and that kind of thing. But my dad did a lot of fishing too. They'd fish for shark, and main thing people were going for was actually a fish you don't really eat, but they do it for sport, is tarpon, which are really big giant fish, And what he did was he'd take a little rowboat out and you'd hook it out there, and then you'd put the boat back on shore, and then you'd bring it in onto the beach slowly. It could take a while.
I was never into fishing, my dad wasn't ever really into fishing.
I did a little bit.
Even though my dad grew up, he grew up mostly on the coast or whatever. He was born in Thomasville, of course, grew up in Wilmington.
Yeah.
And
it's sort of a movie town.
Yeah.
Used to be more of a movie town.
Right.
I think.
But
yeah. Oh, she's going away. She's worried about Roy.
She's worried about.
There they go. That's a cool shot right there.
Yeah.
That's a great shot. Man. I love stuff like that.
That's the name of that ship, though.
Yeah.
Going to kick some ass.
Mm-hmm. Reminded me of the line from what is it? They Live.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going with, but I really didn't want to.
Yeah.
I wish we
was trying to work in bubblegum.
We need to watch They Live. Have you seen They Live?
Oh,
That's
dude, I think you'll like it.
That's a good movie.
Epic fight.
John Carpenter's.
Yeah.
You can't stand this meal.
Yeah. Putting chum in the water, and Shaw's just like harping away at him, running his mouth. The old beer cans where you pull the whole tab off.
They had soft drinks do that too.
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
I remember that.
I prefer that. You don't catch your mustache in the little thing. This is hilarious. I love this. I wonder if that was even scripted. He just crushes styrofoam cup. It's great. Uh-oh. Yeah, Roy gets yelled at. it's like we could all die, which sets up the whole ending of the movie when he explains that. Pretty genius.
See, this was kind of like, they never did a lot of, well, I mean, I guess they did some ocean movies, but they never really did kind of, this is more of a, I mean, you know, like I said, grit and like, I don't know, grit, ocean movie where dealing with a shark or dealing with fish.
And you're seeing real stuff. What they're doing is real.
Right, and trying to, you know, take on, I mean, like I said, sharks were not, I mean, it wasn't a new thing. Sharks have been around for a long time, but I mean, it's just that they never, but they, you know, you didn't know, the general public didn't know near much about them.
No, they didn't.
And so this is the movie that kind of brought them to the forefront.
Yeah, for sure. In one way, it was sort of bad because made sort of all sharks became monsters, but also kind of good because a lot of people got more interested in sharks and studied them more. Yeah, this is neat when the reel starts going, and you hear those little clicks and stuff. So you at home, you're watching it, so you'll hear those clicks.
Dropping in, you know, they have to.
I forgot the name of the knot he was showing. Was it sheep shape?
Yeah, I can't remember now the name of it. I bet I was in Cub Scouts and I didn't go into Boy Scouts or whatever, so I never could remember those names.
It's like dog chases the rabbit around the tree. Rabbit, yeah.
I never knew this. I was in the Navy too. I never got know all that stuff.
They probably had you learn some stuff that was Navy tradition though, right? Like certain kinds of things.
Yeah.
But it's like memorize it for the test and then
pretty much
you're never going to use it again.
Yeah. Right.
They shot everything on the boat handheld.
Really?
They had you got better shots that way because you kind of act yourself as a gyroscope.
Yeah, it seems like you're a person on the boat with them.
And if you got an AC who's pulling focus for you, it's not a big deal. They just found they got better shots that way.
Right.
You know. And it was a lot easier to move it around on the boat and all that, which makes sense. I mean, I would assume, of course, the tripod came into play sometimes. But most of the stuff, I think, they did it without. It doesn't really draw attention to itself. You know? It's very smooth.
I think they don't. Yeah, this winds up not being something they thought it was, or it gets.
Right.
It disappears or whatever.
Or it breaks. I forget. I think the line breaks, if I'm not mistaken.
Something. They don't give it anyway. It doesn't come around anyway.
I think it is it, but it's it's not gonna.
You can't get a gray white anyway with a fishing line or something. Honestly. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert on anything, any sharks, but I'm pretty sure you can't.
Not But this movie sort of held the test of time. You know, even if you haven't seen it, you've at least heard of it. You know, I wonder if they're going to do something crazy like a reboot of this movie. I don't really see how shark seems like the shark is an egg that's been cracked open all the way. You know,
I don't think they're going to do a reboot.
No, I mean, they just did the Meg and stuff like
that.
You
the
know,
Meg,
I saw. I mean,
it's similar.
It is what it is, but yeah.
I haven't seen
it.
But this is more real. This is more artfully done, I have to say.
Right.
The Meg is I'm not going to knock it. I mean, nothing I've done can ever come close to the Meg, you know. But I'd like to make something more like this. And then it breaks. There he goes. Yep. That's right. He went to get the hook and lost it. Yeah. like this kind of framing too.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to cut. I think it's good filmmaking. I don't think it's being lazy or cutting down on money or anything. I think it's superior to to cutting and cutting and cutting. You can have them do that just in the blocking. Look at that. That was like 10 shots.
Right.
Just in that. I mean, like 6, but still. This is funny. He's like, arr, arr, arr. Yeah. He's all pissed. It's like kind of one of those movies that, I don't know, it makes you, movies like this kind of make you wish you were in it.
Yeah.
You know, taking part in all that stuff. You know, it's pretty neat. I wonder how, if Beach Vacation shot up or went down after this movie came out.
Oh, I'm sure they went down.
Down, yeah. Oh, well.
I'm sure they went down.
Scared.
Yeah.
I mean, they scared a lot of people.
Yeah,
From what I heard,
that's
they
true.
did a lot. You know, a lot of.
This would be a shot I would let the AC do.
That's all. Yeah, well, yeah.
It's like,
I mean, it's a good shot. I like it.
yeah. I'm just not gonna.
I would do it. I mean,
It would take me all day if I had to do it.
I mean, just getting up there would be my thing.
Yeah,
is
yeah,
that, you know.
Oh man, I used to not be terrified of heights, but now.
I've kind of got. I didn't either really. I mean, I'm not saying I was great at heights, but I mean, like for instance, that ladder just going up there would have been just it just because. I mean, if somebody. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of what anything, but.
And when you joined the Navy, they didn't make you jump off a ship, did they?
No,
Yeah.
we had to drop off a real high dive,
Right.
a really high dive,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's the first
That's like.
experience of the shark.
Yeah.
I wish we could go back and rewind that. But
But that close up, that look in his
Yeah.
face, that like then it's up, and it's
Right.
like he's like, oh.
That's kind of the worst
And we need a bigger
image
boat.
of the shark. Yeah.
We're gonna need a bigger boat. It's like what? That's right. He was World War II. There
Thing
it
was
is.
Massive.
It is big. So when they got the shark to work, it worked okay. And that could just be.
Well, that could be
just
that right
a
there.
little
It could
fin.
be something. Yeah. Blowing the water. Now that's.
Yeah,
a little bit of
that's one of their sharks. They had like different ones. They had one that was just half finished, and then the other side was a skeletal framework. Then they had a full-on one. Did y'all ever do any of the Jaws rides at Disney World?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, they kind of simulated it a little bit, or was it Universal? I forget. No, it was Universal. Sorry, Universal Studios did the Jaws ride.
I've
did the
never been to
Jaws
that
thing.
Universal.
They did it in Disneyland first, and then they did it over here. It's pretty cool. The guy who's driving your little boat would stop and pull out a rifle and shoot the shark, and you know. It was fun. Spielberg had a hard time even getting near a boat after making this movie, just because of all the anxiety and all the hardships he had doing this. At the Universal Studios lot, actually, where they had, I think they had this boat sitting in the
I've
one of the
seen
replicas of it sitting in the
Yeah.
harbor. And Spielberg said every day I would go out there and I'd get on that boat and I'd make myself stay there for like half an hour. He said he had such a horrible time on that movie making it that was a way how he had to like fight his demons or something, you know, fighting all the bad. So he just sort of forced himself to face it. That's funny. And I'm imagining they had to ADR like all this audio.
Well, see, like I said, you know, this is the first time I bet you even somebody saw a spear gun like that or something like that as in the movie. It's just like a lot of the stuff was just brand new to general public because
before that,
they didn't do that.
Maybe a harpoon in the early Moby Dick movie or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just you didn't see this kind of stuff.
All these gadgets.
Yeah. Yeah, because it wasn't really well known.
Yeah. You'd have, I mean,
probably document. They didn't have really documentaries about it.
You had Jacques Cousteau.
Yeah, I think that's probably what
early Jacques Cousteau, really too. You know.
So I mean,
you ever heard of Jacques Cousteau's kind of old school? Have you ever heard of that? He was, I guess, I don't know if he's a marine biologist or not, but he's a Frenchman that had all his shows were about sea life and stuff like that, and he was like.
This is when they were.
Yeah. So they can kind of tell where
Track
it is.
it,
It's
yeah.
got the tracking.
Tracking it.
Sorry for those at home. It's kind of an intense scene we're watching.
Yeah, it's kind of like.
Yeah.
I always get drawn into the scene.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they're doing a lot of these like right in the middle kind of shots right now too.
Because that was his idea for the whole barrel thing or whatever, and that's why Robert Shaw was looking at him going. It wasn't a Gary idea, was it? That was Hooper's idea. That's what.
Yeah. He's like,
I told you it wouldn't work.
That's right. It's sort of the old against the new with those two. Yeah. Nice shot. Nice silhouette. It almost seems faster without the sound for some reason. I don't know why, but
it does.
Yeah.
Oh, this is when they.
Yeah.
They kind of bond a little bit together because going over each other's scars and and he's telling him about the shark attack during
the Indianapolis.
He might have a metal plate in his head, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, I forget.
So they're showing each other's scars and stuff like that. So then they started doing this in other movies. Even Lethal Weapon 3 had it in there. Where
I've seen that stuff happen in real life too. I had friends that were nurses, and then if old people, especially old dudes, were friends of the family, they'd start showing them all their scars. It's like they don't want to see your belly, man.
Like, look what I've been through.
Yeah, I know.
This is what I'm picking up for this.
Yeah. Thresher shark or tiger. On the leg.
they're all drunk too.
Yeah, they're slammed. Yeah. And Roy Scheider's like, "Oh, I've never been bit by a shark."
It kind of started out with Roy Scheider was like rubbing his head because he had just like a little cut on his head or whatever, and like Robert Shaw was like saying, and he's like, "Yeah, right, you got a little cut on your head."
Oh my God!
And that's why he took off his tooth or whatever and type of thing. And that's when
it keeps going. It was funny. She broke my heart. That's right. He's talking about a girl that broke his heart.
Yeah.
This
is all when they're bonding.
Yeah.
This is a good scene.
It's a really good scene. Yeah, famous.
It's just
starts off real serious because he's talking about dudes dying and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
But the both of them at the table couldn't get along, and now
now
they're best friends. Yeah.
Everybody's bonding and.
Yeah. It happens. it happens in real life too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a couple of directors. I think it was Orson Welles and somebody else. They started off fighting, and then they got drunk and were best friends ever since.
This is when he starts talking about the Indianapolis.
Oh no, he talks about it after that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. It gets real serious there.
This is when it's that.
Yeah. Fooled me. I thought he actually was on it.
Yeah. This is a very heavy dialogue right now, so it's not really a lot of stuff going on, but.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that mood's gone from jovial to deadly serious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sort of the mini story within the story.
Right.
Which they did a movie about the Indianapolis.
Just a few years.
Yeah, about 4 years ago.
Nicolas Cage wasn't he?
He was. My buddy out in L.A. worked on that movie. He did some of the CGI.
Yeah. I remember seeing it on the show. I think I went into a Blockbuster and saw it on a show somewhere else.
Indianapolis?
It's a ship that just went on it was World War II, and it had the bomb on it. And it delivered the bomb to the air base out in the middle of the Pacific. Secret mission, so no escort, no nothing. No one knew about it. It was classified. On its way back, Japanese sub hit it.
Wow.
And so you had about 800, it sank. So you had hundreds of people just floating in the ocean, and all these sharks came in from everywhere and started feeding off of them. Mm-hmm. They're real life.
It's real life.
Yeah. All those people that took the bomb.
They happened in Indianapolis?
No. That was the name of the boat.
Oh,
it happened in the Pacific Ocean.
Oh.
Yeah, way out in the Pacific Ocean.
And he's one of the guys who was
survived.
Or this character is one of the guys that survived.
And they were out there probably at least a week or more, 14 days, something like floating.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
World War II.
Oh, World War.
So 40, probably like 44, 43, something like that. We got in 42, and they delivered the bomb to Hiroshima, and the war was over in 44, so around somewhere. Yeah.
I hope we never have a World War III, I tell you that.
Everybody dead if we do.
Yeah. Technology, we gotta wipe everybody out.
Yeah. I just there's better things humans can do, I think. Military's important, but it'd be nice if we didn't have to attack each other.
Well, it gave you, with doing this, it gave you an introspection to this character where he came from and where he's had his experiences with sharks.
Yeah, and they're not over yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like the ghosts of the past get him anyway, He can't escape it. It's interesting, actors' eyes and stuff. I mean, there's a lot to that.
Right.
Like, you want somebody who looks like they got some weight behind them. They're a real thinker, a real person. Some people have that blank kind of look, and there's nothing there.
Robert Shaw's a good actor anyway.
Some age to, not like age, but give them some background.
Sure.
Like some depth, like they've been through something.
Yeah.
Like that,
Yeah.
But I think they still do that today in a lot of
I
movies.
think so, yeah. I think there was a trend maybe in the 90s where it got really, they just wanted beautiful people in all the movies, but it's kind of...
Yeah, to a degree, what they do, because nowadays everybody looks just super young and don't know.
But you can make a movie with old people and all kind of people in it too, and it'll work. Like Mandy, for instance, with Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is not an Adonis dude, He's just a normal looking dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're singing. That's right.
Oh, I don't think I can handle being on the boat with all that rocking.
Yeah.
Up and down.
Yeah.
I'd be
It's something to
sick
get
as
used
hell.
to. Yeah. I've been out all day on the lake, and which had some stuff like this.
You ever been on a ship or a boat like that before?
Big ship. My stepdad was a chief engineer for the Merchant Marine, so I went inside his. It was an oil tanker. I went in there a few times.
Was it rocking up and down like that?
Nah, it's so big. It's giant. You don't notice that, but
So that's only applies to stuff like this.
it depends. Giant ass waves, and someone don't know what they're doing when they're riding it. My stepdad hurt himself real, but everybody got thrown around in the. It's a bad place. Everything's just big metal things everywhere. There's no padding. There's no nothing. It's all metal. And he worked, in the boiler room. Where they keep the engineer. Engineer's really the second command of a ship. You got the chief engineer and then the captain.
Oh God, yeah, I think that's where
I forgot about the fire.
happens. They spill some oil. Or something.
That's right. It hit the ship and messed up the engine. Yeah, and they commented it's a smart shark. It knows that it's up against a boat, and it knows how to maybe hurt it. Yeah.
Dang.
He's got, that's a M1 from World War II. That's a World War II rifle.
I wonder
Which
how they got that effect right there.
just had a light on a strobe, had a legit strobe on it, and it just does that. Yeah. Imagine it had some kind of, maybe a gel on it or something, like a green. Hard to say. And he's got a little 38. That's not going to do anything against the jaws. Or wait, no, is that 44? I couldn't tell.
I think it was
Looked like
38.
a 38.
I think it was
Looked like a 38.
38.
Yeah, looked like a little one. Just a regular one though, not a snub nose. Ooh. Did you notice that? The shooting star?
Yeah, they had one earlier.
Yeah.
I saw one earlier.
That's a
right
legit,
there,
that's
yeah.
a real one.
What?
Yeah, they
I've
weren't
seen it
gonna.
like 2 or 3 times.
That's just a lucky shot, yeah. But they're out there every day. They were out in the boat every day. Some of the hardest parts when they were shooting, especially if you can see the horizon line in the background or other boats. They didn't think about that, and it's like, how long does it take a boat to cross the horizon line in the shot? 10 minutes.
Right.
So there's a lot of little things like that made it take forever.
It's called the Urca.
Yeah. Which orca is just a name for whale, right? Yeah. Eskimo name?
I don't know.
I forget.
I think so. Maybe.
They're trying to get that tracker back.
Yeah. I think originally.
They really show how hard that stuff is.
I think they were, yeah. Eventually broke. Out of the shark.
I was thinking about another one involved this.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, you want the rope? Oh, yeah, the rope.
Smile. Like it when he's describing the shark. It's black eyes like a doll's eyes.
What I mean is, like, it's like the eyes are just like vacant. Or
Yeah,
like,
there's nothing. There's just like voids.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't remember.
he's like, no, we're just us getting this, chief.
Oh, okay. I was trying to remember why that he did that.
Yeah. No, he's like, no, we're getting this. It's us.
It's his white whale.
Yeah.
No.
And Roy Scheider's like, I don't want to die out here. then that gets Too bad they don't have actual depth charges.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But don't they have explosives on in those, or at least one of them, didn't they?
There's the gas, is the oxygen tank they blow up.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, that's right. I knew there was something they fired at that blew the thing up.
Yeah. So, you know, I bet, like all these shots, the boat in the background just passed the horizon. So, okay, get the shot, get the shot. I know they had a lot of that. Yeah, humans are crazy. And let's see. So they're just chasing the shark right now. So the shark is just taking them for a run. And I forget, I think a lot more time goes by. Let's see, how many days how many production days were there on this movie? That'll be good to know. Sorry, folks at home.
No, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just I lost. Sorry, I lost.
It's a good movie. We got lost in it. Hopefully you did too at home. Yeah. Let's see.
It's another one again. And there's another.
Jaws did recoup its production cost in 2 weeks.
Wasn't it like, it was like 15, 20 million?
Oh. Let's see.
I don't know.
Jaws box office.
I meant the cost of making the movie.
Oh yeah. Oh, Jaws has made $470.7 million. So not bad. I think its budget was $7 million. So it did pretty good. One can hope. You do that once, you're set for life.
I think they'd occasionally put it back in theaters, like in California or some big cities. Like
I bet it
LA
includes all the
and
DVD, Blu-ray sales, streaming.
That too.
You know.
And I think they put it out in theaters occasionally in like LA and stuff like that. But
oh yeah, but man, made a lot of. Jaws 2 made $208 million. Jaws 3D made $88 million. Jaws: The Revenge made $51.9 million. Here you go. This is the great one though. The Meg has made $527.8 million.
527 million or 527,000?
527 million. 527,000. It would have been like. That's bad. Yeah. Jurassic Park has made 1.029 billion. Anyway, The Shallows. Anyway.
that's good.
Oh yeah, the rope burn. Oh yeah, because that could like cut right through your leg. Cut your leg right off.
Stuff like that, I can cut.
Yeah, people get hurt all the time on boats.
Like on ships and everything like that too, or Navy ships or whatever. They have like these long thin ropes and everything like that, and guys got chopped. And guys got chopped.
Yeah.
In half or whatever.
Yeah, all kind of bad accidents can happen on a boat. And you don't want to smoke cigarettes in the wrong places. You probably don't want any cigarettes on board a boat at all. But I've heard of horrible things happening, like rooms catching on fire and everybody melting, and just bad.
Tied up him to the boat.
Yep. So they're stuck with him whether they want him or not. And there he was, like, smile. Hey, what's up, guys? It's kind of fun to give him a voice, right? So like in cutting, Spielberg was always fighting with the editor on how many frames, how long they show the shark. He wanted to show more because it was so hard to make that, pull that shot off. The editor wanted it to be, well, it needs to be this long. You know, so they would compete with each other a little bit and choose the frame, and they're usually pretty much, if they both nailed the frame, they'd go with it, you know, and then usually they were like 1 or 2 off or something, but we were really close. But she wanted just a few less frames so you don't realize it's fake, you know. And he said, you know, sometimes a frame or two is all it took between the difference in something that's really, really scary, and then he called it just a great white floating turd. I got the machete. Oh yeah, Pop pulled him right off. So they got no ocean, they got no radio.
Just makes you think, if you're in that situation, what would you do?
I don't think I'd get myself in that situation in the first place, but I would want to just like, I don't know, get a bigger boat. But yeah, and you wonder how far away off the coast they are.
Yeah.
You know?
It looks like they're
a mile. Yeah. I don't know. But the beach could be like right there. Well, not the beach, but pretty close. And obviously they used another boat to shoot from. They had 2 orcas. One sank actually.
Yeah.
And then they had so they had to use the one they didn't want to sink to blow up or whatever, or something like that. I forget. A buddy of mine, actually, he's a potter. He does clay pots and stuff professionally. Yeah. But he was a shark fisherman in Florida for a long time. And he had a lot of interesting stories. He's wrecked about 3 boats and, you know, all kinds of stuff. His crew would be like homeless people that lived under the bridge. He'd pick them up and they'd go. That's pretty funny. That thing's so huge.
He ain't disappeared yet. They think that he just disappeared. They went off and he disappeared.
He's right there.
He's still around.
At least they got their ocean motor working again. Oh, there's the beach.
That was some good fast cutting though, because where Scheider was down there and down on the bottom of the ladder. Now all of a sudden
he's up there. Yeah. Which never noticed that before. But I guess it works. Man, if you can fit all the actors in the shot and have the scene, just do it that way.
That was a pretty cool shot right there. It was.
I guess that's a knots.
There they go fighting.
Yeah.
He's not running from it. He's trying to do something, I think. He has it full speed.
They're trying to get it closer to shore, right? Closer to...
Maybe.
For some reason, I forget.
I don't remember the whole... I was trying to remember what he's trying to do.
Yeah. Those at home, you guys know it. We've forgotten.
Because the driver's in a mad about something, and he shouldn't be doing that. He's not running from it, because I can't remember. I can't believe that Robert Shaw the character of Robert Shaw's character would be running from it.
Were they trying to get the shark tired?
I don't know.
Yeah. I can't remember. Oh, yeah. Now the boat's flying apart. Oh, God, it gets worse and worse and worse. We're almost at a really grisly scene, I think. again, with just interesting shots.
Yeah.
Something simple. It's just a pan down, but it's going from a full shot to a close up. Just simple stuff that makes it cinematic. And it's sort of like Robert Shaw himself is losing. He knows, I don't know if he knows his time is short, but
Yeah.
he's seeing the. Yeah, and now they're sinking. Where's his life jacket? Little symbolism there, maybe.
Yeah.
But just simple. Here we got that triangle going on. Triangle meaning just like 3 points to look back and forth on. Oh, wait, is this when he goes in the diving bell? Oh, no, that's after. Never mind. I know what that is. Yeah. They talk about it a few times. That's right. He's going over his. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
right. They
yeah.
are talking about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Something I'll never do.
Well, see,
How's that supposed to do?
It's a shark cage. You get in it and lower it in, and so you can be with the sharks, but you got a cage, a real spindly aluminum cage. He's wanting to get close enough to get
to
to
stab
hit
him.
it with that
Yeah.
poison. Yeah, I forget exactly what it was.
Yeah. Isn't it those, or they can be used anyway for like just about observing sharks or whatever? Or
Yeah, that's
anything.
typically what they use it
Yeah.
for. Yeah, to study. Scientists use them to study stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Not usually kill them.
And there's some footage, I believe. They did a lot of footage with real sharks off the coast of Australia. That they were a while trying to find a shark big enough where they could use some stock footage of it to put in the movie. But I don't think they found quite the shark they,
Right.
wanted to use. But I think there are a few shots from that in the movie somewhere. I thought it might have been in the diving bell scene, or not a bell, but a shark cage. Diving bell's a different thing.
I think it was on one of those old programs, like That's Incredible or something like that, where they had people out there, or you probably see it like 20 zillion times on some
Right.
thing.
And they
where
also wear
people give us-
chainmail. They'll wear a
Yeah.
chainmail suit to where the shark can still crush your bones and hurt you good, but it has a less a chance of the teeth getting through.
Right.
Yeah. Because even a small shark will hurt you, But generally they don't want to. And sharks don't really want to eat humans. They don't really. Every time they bite, they don't really like we don't taste good.
How do you know? You ever asked a shark that?
One day I'll tell you.
Did the shark tell us that?
I'll tell you next week. Yeah. Okay, I assume a shark scientist said that on a TV show once. Yeah.
Well, how does he know that? Did the shark tell him?
Yes. That was a zoom. Pull back. Reveal. That's actually Bruce and Dreyfus. That right there, that's a real shark, and that's from Australia.
That I can see that.
Yeah. That's right. That's a real shark.
A lot of this is just stock footage or whatever type thing.
Well, they shot it, but it is stock. Yeah, totally.
Well, you can tell that he's in some. You can tell when you're showing him, he's in some. He's probably in a tank or a water tank or something like that somewhere.
Yeah. And you think that's the sun? That's an 18K.
Yeah. Whoa. Ooh.
Oh yeah, fake shark there. Real shark there.
Damn.
I was right. Real shark. Totally
yeah,
real.
That doesn't look like.
No, I know. It doesn't look like Jaws at all. Yeah. But by this point, with the sound and all that, audience is just like.
Yeah.
Like, oh
I mean,
my
we're
God.
just, it's also the score is going on too. We're just watching it with a
interesting,
it's kind of intense scoring and everything like that.
You almost get to notice more stuff. Definitely the fake shark there, fake shark there. But cool, it's real enough. God, no thanks.
Yeah, it's probably a stuntman.
Yeah, they're right there. Yeah,
Yeah.
they aren't gonna put Dreyfus in that. They'll do from the close-ups.
Or they won't have him be
this stuff
roughed
though.
up by the shark or whatever.
No. Wow, so he almost gets gobbled, but he doesn't. But then, yeah, that's right. He hangs out down there. Well, that's a real shark there. And that's right, he hides. That just looks like a real shark right there. Real shark. And folks at home, hopefully you're watching it and you're as riveted as we are with the sound and stuff going on. We're still riveted with just like pictures. So yeah, Roy.
The cage.
Yeah, the cage is empty, so they think Dreyfus is dead.
God, I don't remember him going down that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
I've seen mostly on DVD and Blu-ray and stuff. And I don't remember much. That looked like a real shark. That's definitely a fake shark, but it looks cool. And here's the scene. The shocking
part,
scene.
yeah,
That's a neat shot. I like that low angle stuff.
And he let them went in there.
Right in.
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
Yeah. And this is definitely the horror movie shot there. Put a little fake blood in the mouth and it just makes it terrible. Pay no attention to the rubber teeth.
Yeah, I noticed that. It does look rubbery right now.
Yeah, but they were pretty grisly with that. But honestly,
it still looks
the
good.
scene, it looks great. Yeah,
It still looks good.
I'd say there's still maybe more blood with the scene with the kid, even though that was pretty close up blood. And there it goes. That ship is going out.
Hasn't gotten out yet.
Yeah. Oh, jeez, it comes right in.
He thinks he's. Okay, now for you.
Oh yeah, here we
This
go.
is where he
Yeah.
sticks the thing in his mouth.
He's really lucky that it stayed in his mouth for the next duration of time that this goes on. In the right place. Oh yeah. So it's sinking. Probably not a very good feeling to be on a boat and it's sinking, You're losing your foundation.
I could see them if they remade this movie. This wouldn't be like this, where it would be like, I could see that the protagonist, whoever they made the protagonist, doing this scene or doing something similar to this or whatever,
Right.
but then have somebody be struggling with the shark and them shooting the shark and saving them in
Right.
nick of time or something like that.
Yeah. That's right. He gets up there. He's got a rifle. That's right.
Whoa.
Oof. That's a neat shot, honestly.
Take a lot to kill that damn thing.
And slowly.
Mhm.
It's still there.
Yeah.
Chewing on it like a cigar. And there's that M1 carbine. There we go.
There
Boom.
you go. Boom.
Boom. Boom. Okay. So they had the one wide shot for the explosion, then they had an underneath thing, and then, yeah.
Yeah.
And there it goes. Crashing to the bottom of the ocean. Actually, probably going to feed a lot more sharks.
Yeah. Hey, we gotta watch out because there's more blood out there now.
I know, tons.
Sharks. There's other
Yeah.
sharks out there.
Yeah. Yeah. The shark would probably taste better than people would. So, yeah, he thinks he's all alone. And then we got to give the audience some happy time. So he's alive.
Now you come up. I could have been used your help a long time ago right now.
Yeah, I'm just going to hide. You know.
You're just chilling out somewhere and with a mermaid or something like that, probably.
And then he's like, oh, you're alive. Oh, God.
Where are you at?
And then it becomes a buddy cop film.
Yes. Last few minutes of it. Yeah, I think he just asked about
Oh, yeah.
Robert Shaw's character.
Shaw, yeah. Yeah. And then
And it shows
there
that
we go. There's all the birds eating the shark. Yeah. And this is the last shot of the movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Them
Pretty cool.
Going off into the
Sort of
sunset.
into the sunset, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
there's no sunset, but
No.
it looks like it's going off.
Yeah.
They probably wanted a sunset there.
I'm sure. But yeah. All right. Well, cool. Up. No, we got more other shots. Do they have follow up? No. They
it's
just
just
have
yeah,
just the
just
beach
got
and the good. It doesn't need Some movies are a little too conclusion heavy. You ever notice that sometimes? Like you should have ended it 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
This isn't. This is kind of dulled out just right, you know. And I know some audiences today have a hard time with older films and stuff like that, but I don't know. But it seems like though people are used to watching longer films today though again. It was like took a stretch there. Yeah. Stuff like Lord of the Rings and all that were approaching 3 hours sometimes kind of stretched some people's minds a little bit maybe. Yeah. Oh yeah, the live shark stuff. Filmed in Panavision and color by Technicolor. That's right. Panavision's the camera and Technicolor's the processing.
Quint. I can't remember that. Robert Shaw's character was saying my line right there.
You're better at names than I am. I'm, as the audience knows, terrible at that.
What does it mean when movies come on and it be like production by and then it says a film by? Isn't that two different things? Production like
production could be the company in charge of doling out the actual production of the movie, the physical making of it. Film by, a lot of directors will slap it on there. No, there wasn't. Yeah. Yeah. Generally, it's going to be like 10 minutes of credits going by, you know. But yeah, pretty good.
That's it.
Yeah. Right on. And even on the front end of it, it wasn't really a lot
Yeah.
of credits. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, all right. Any
Quality
follow-up statements anybody want to make before we
Would you consider it
end this thing?
Would you consider a complete horror movie, or do you call it a drama movie, or do you call it action movie? Do you call it
Gosh, almost action adventure, really.
if you had
Action.
if you had a store that you had separated genres in
Mhm.
and had to put it in one of the genres, where would you put it at?
Well,
like action drama, a little horror. I don't know. It's kind of hard.
okay. The two sections, are they close by each other? Are they right next to each
No,
other?
they're on the opposite end of the store.
Because I would definitely put it in the equator of the area.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like
Yeah,
a
it's
cross
hard.
between.
I mean,
It
it wasn't
is.
until like later on that I realized that it could be put in a horror. For some reason, it never occurred to me to be a horror movie. But then as it went along and got really,
Right.
I was like, of course it could be a horror movie or whatever type thing, because it's got similarities. I mean, we saw it.
Same
it's-
thing. Yeah.
You're looking at out of his eyes sometimes, and it's like he's a killer.
With the killer
basically.
POV. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they play it just like Jason Voorhees is the same entity.
Yeah,
One could argue.
just 3 years
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, except he's got opposable
Right.
thumbs and stuff. You know.
He's not. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, it's definitely. I mean, I'd put it if I had to put it somewhere. I'd probably put it as a horror movie.
Yeah, I think I might agree. Though it has all the tropes of action adventure. A lot of blood in it, which is not a lot, but still.
People getting killed, people getting eaten.
Even the name Jaws, kind of connotes that kind of horrific kind of.
I mean, a
thing.
kid got eaten in the movie, so
you
it's
you
kinda
kill
like,
kids, and they killed kids and dogs.
Yeah.
It's kind of like horror.
And they had kids and dogs in their movie, and it still works.
Right.
Action horror.
Yeah, we live in the period now where everything is kind of cross genre.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not.
it's hard to.
Right.
Hard to do that. Even stuff that's legitimately horror, like American Horror Story, well, it's still kind of a drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty neat. All right, guys, that was fun. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. And if you start the movie Jaws at the beginning of this podcast, it should work out just about right. And thank you very much, and see you next week.